Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Caleb Denison. We're about to bring in Ken Young, the technology editor at Flipboard. But before we do, today's episode of Tech Briefs is brought to you by SaneBox. SaneBox is an amazing email management system that will make your life easier by managing and organizing your existing email accounts. Let the AI of the Sane Reminders feature help you to reply to the emails you need to respond to, while at the same time uncluttering your inbox with the Sane Black Hole. Get a free 2-week trial and a $25 credit by visiting sanebox.com/digital trends today. That's SANEBOX.com/digital trends to get that great discount and free trial. Now, with that, Ken Young from Flipboard joins us from his offices in San Francisco. Is that right, Ken?
Close enough. It's in Redwood City, so we're in the San Francisco Bay Area.
I got you. Okay, sorry about that. I knew you were down there somewhere in that.
It's close enough. It's all the same.
So, man, typically it's kind of a slow news time because, we've gotten through Black Friday and Cyber Monday. CES is around the corner. Usually tech companies are fairly quiet. That has not been the case this week. As you know very well, Qualcomm has had their Snapdragon event going on in Maui. That's where Greg is right now. He's having a really tough time of it, I'm sure. And there was some interesting news that came out of there. I guess the biggest one, we talked about their AR platform a little bit earlier. And we're going to get into that again. But the Snapdragon 865 chip was announced, and it seems to bring some legitimately real features that we can expect to see in smartphones in the future. What do you think about where 5G and AI is going right now?
So I think with you're right. December is typically a slow news month, but there's certainly been no shortage of it, especially in this consolidated month with the Thanksgiving holiday coming in early. But I think what Qualcomm's doing is setting up what CES is going to be, what's going to headline CES next month. So yeah, Qualcomm wants to really usher in 5G. You start to see a lot of carriers in the U.S. You have Verizon, you have AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint, all launching some iteration of a 5G network. And so now Qualcomm wants to do its part in saying, look, we have these high powered chips that are going to be in not only your phones, but any device that you can possibly think of to really bring 5G to fruition. Right now, 5G is very, nobody really can see the true benefit of 5G. I mean, there's a lot of hype around what could be done. I think for most consumers, what they envision in terms of 5G is that it's going to be faster than 4G, but are they really going to be able to notice that big of a difference in terms of a speed? So I think with Qualcomm's new 865 and there's, I believe, the 765 chip, you're going to start to see more of these type of innovations start to come into our devices over the next couple of years. Last year at CES, you started, there's a lot of hype around it, a lot of introduction saying, this is what we're going to be doing. You're starting to see more 5G phones. And that's true to form. You're going to see. We saw quite a few 5G phones launch this year, but I don't think people don't recognize the potential about it. And also with that 5G, Qualcomm wanted to really emphasize the potential for how it improves AI. And the faster your computing power, the faster the AI can compute things and provide you services and knowledge at rates that you may not have been expecting before.
Yeah.
And so it'd be interesting to see where that comes through.
Yeah, it's time for the rubber to start hitting the road. I mean, if I look back at CES earlier this year, it was a lot of promise around what could be done when 5G got here. So we saw a lot of different, from autonomous vehicle technology to even televisions, what could be done with 5G. The promise of 5G is coming. Here's what we're going to use it for. Now we need to actually start seeing that come together. This new Snapdragon chip embodies a lot of that. As we said, 5G is a big part of that, AI, AR. Also, better battery life. It's just more efficient, which is good news because, it's going to be doing a lot of processing. So we don't want to see battery life go down as our devices are doing more. I guess there's a new fingerprint sensor as well, which is interesting. So we'll see what that looks like when it starts making it into devices. But just because we have the devices and the chip to run it, we aren't there yet. We need a network to run it over. And I feel like the 5G network situation is kind of I don't know, dodgy, tenuous right now. But T-Mobile did do a 5G nationwide launch, and I want to get your read on that. I'm kind of taking the temperature of 5G because is it really 5G? Is it more like AT&T's like 5GE, which isn't really 5G? What's going on with T-Mobile's launch here?
So I'm kind of personally I'm kind of excited about T-Mobile's 5G rollout. I mean, I'm a T-Mobile customer, but I mean the downside is that T-Mobile only has two phones that are 5G enabled, and unfortunately, I don't want to pay that much for 5G right now, especially when again, nobody like what are consumers really going to experience in terms of 5G? I mean, right now it's like, oh, we're watching this video now, and you see like this marketing hype behind it, and we're promised like the a treasure trove of capabilities, but realistically, are we actually going to be seeing that now, or we're going to start seeing that maybe in 2022 or 2023 or whatever? I think by Qualcomm's estimates, I believe it's like over a billion phones will be out there. They're estimating over a billion phones to be 5G enabled within, I believe, within 2022 or something like that. I believe that was the latest stat. So I think with T-Mobile, they're getting it out there. But I think the caveat here is this going to be something that's going to be widely available for those that don't live near a cell tower, a 5G cell tower? Also, how drastic, how massive of a speed impact are you going to see throughout the nation? Is it truly nationwide, or are there going to be millions without access to this kind of type of thing? And if you recall, with the lawsuit that states have filed against T-Mobile and Sprint, that merger, T-Mobile has made a claim that's saying, look, in order for 5G to really have an impact, this Sprint merger needs to go through. So if that merger doesn't go through for some reason, what could impact this 5G rollout? And so, I mean, there's certainly a lot of caveats with what T-Mobile's doing.
Yeah, I agree. I was just going to ask you about the Sprint merger. It seems like that is a linchpin to this whole thing, and if it falls through, T-Mobile is going to be hurting for certain. So I think we can both agree that with the excitement and the hype that's around it, 5G is still in its nascent days. But I do have to say the fact that Niantic, the company that made Pokemon Go, for instance, is getting into making AR glasses. They've got this partnership going with Qualcomm right now. Qualcomm announced this XR AR platform, and it seems like, to me, there's some real movement in AR about to happen here. What do you think?
So Qualcomm, going back to the Snapdragon Summit, they needed to really tout 5G. Like they just them building out new chips isn't going to do enough. They need to actually get that in the hands of developers and product folks. And so not only are they doing with Niantic, what you referenced, but they also have announced a slate of partnerships, including with Google, in terms of helping you to store your driver's license information on your phone securely. But I think what people really would be interested in is the Niantic tie-in. And look, Pokemon Go was a hit. I still see people playing it. People on a bus with two phones playing Pokemon Go. I mean, go figure. I think I'd just be happy, with a Pikachu or a Snorlax or something like that, and just be done with it. But I think with Pokemon Go, with Niantic, I think Niantic's whole thing is, its whole bread and butter is is the AR world, this augmented reality, this mixed reality. And what better way to really experience that than with wearable devices or an augmented glasses or anything like that? Sure, you can do it with your phone, but I mean, it makes it a little bit more seamless to have these type of things. And Pokemon and Niantic's not the only one that's been toying around with AR glasses. But I think also, if you recall, Facebook said that they're working on something like that. Google has toyed with that with very, very disastrous results. And of course, you have Snapchat with their spectacles to a certain degree. But I think with consumers, like Qualcomm's partnership with a brand that has a lot of consumer appeal is going to be a pretty interesting thing, and that could really cut through the confusion about what AR glasses are, and hopefully usher a new mainstream medium. So who knows what's going to happen with that? And if you recall, Magic Leap also famously announced that they would have some sort of an AR mixed reality headset. That still hasn't been fully revealed yet. I mean, they were saying that they were expecting, I believe, over 100,000 shipments. And then I believe the information released, published a study today saying that, I believe 6,000 units were ultimately sold. So they are far behind the curve in terms of making this mainstream. I think but it's still early days for AR glasses.
Yeah, definitely early days, but I feel like Niantic was kind of held back by the fact that the phone was their only platform. With the new chip that's coming out and the opening up of this platform, or at least the partnership between Niantic and Qualcomm, I think that their AR glasses have a really good shot at becoming a reality sooner than later. So hopefully we're going to see some big movement there, and it can be less of a pie in the sky thing and a little bit more practical of a product. And also, Niantic will probably make it fun. We got to wrap up really quick here, Ken, but I do want to bring up Larry Page and Sergey Brin stepped down from Google and also Alphabet, handing over the keys to Sundar Pichai. What are the implications on this, real quick?
So Google will probably streamline everything now with one leader running the biggest business unit of Alphabet, and now also hedging its bets with everything else, including with Google X and everything like that. The fact that what analysts and other journalists are saying in terms of Larry and Sergey's departure is that, look, they are still the majority shareholder of the company. They do not have day-to-day management anymore, but with them stepping away from having an official role, but still a majority shareholder, there's a lack of accountability there. Like Sundar, he's had a very great rise to the top echelon of the company, but he still has a lot of obstacles to overcome, especially with dealing with antitrust and regulation. Elizabeth Warren chimed in as soon as Larry announced he was stepping down and Sundar was taking over. So this is going to be very interesting to see how he handles that. It'll be very interesting how he overcomes, how he really reinvigorates the Google workforce, especially after the firing of a few employee advocates who spoke out against the company over certain issues there. So I think that Google and Alphabet have a lot to overcome. This is a great step forward, but there's a lot to read in between the tea leaves here.
Yeah, definitely. Sundar Pichai has his work cut out for him, so we'll have to see how he handles that. Ken Young, technology editor at Flipboard, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate your time today.
No worries. Great to be here.